Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Lunch and Learn on a Monday at 1 p.m. South Africa time, which is, I think, 11 o'clock in England, GMT. And today, yes, you read that title right. How to breathe for sickness, emotional and physical disaster. Now, here's the key thing. You're likely doing it already. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to share with you how to reverse this. Isn't that what we want? So let's climb straight in here. We've got 15 minutes because every Monday I'm live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and also for my PathFinders community with a 15-minute lunch and learn lessons and discussions, something that's become very relevant in the past week, that's resonated with me or that's come up. So this week, I've been listening to the overwhelming feedback from my recent masterclasses that I've been running on how to overcome stress for high-functioning business professionals. And the request has been overwhelmingly in favor of more information around breathwork and techniques to release the hold of stress and anxiety that it may have over you. So I've listened, and today I'm delivering. And I'm going to be covering 4 key areas. See them on the screen there. A stress test for you to measure your state of well-being for breathing right here and now, and we're going to do that together. How to breathe for optimal health and well-being, and 3 myths that I'm going to break down that I found a lot of people don't really understand. And these are things that we're taught in school in biology. Well, okay, I was many years ago did biology, but I've come to believe I don't think it's changed that much. And for more information on how else you can understand breathing and techniques and tools and tricks, and also get access to my book, down below in the comments is a link to my Pathfinder community. That's where you're going to find, I think there's over about 30 lives now. The recordings are all there. That's the best place to find it, and also my YouTube channel now as well. So when you're stressed or anxious, your body is designed to do truly remarkable things to help you. In a state of what's called fear, fight, and flight, or sympathetic nervous system activation, which is breathing into your chest, some remarkable things happen. Your heart speeds up. Your blood pressure increases. Your body sends oxygenated blood from your brain to your muscles. In that state, you don't need to think and rationalize and go, what am I going to do next? Should I run from the lion or should I run towards the lion? Do I climb the tree? No, there's no time for that. Stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol kick in as well. These are released in that moment of your sympathetic nervous system kicking into gear. You react without thinking. That is how we've been designed. Here's the problem. In our modern world and society, these things, 5G technology, being in front of your computer all the time, your nervous system just getting hammered with constant pressure and work and not relaxing, it's got detrimental impact on your health, unless you do something dramatic about it. Long-term implications, according to the World Health Organization, resulting in burnout. 25% of people who hit burnout are hospitalized with chronic medical conditions. You can't sleep. You're not able to focus on your work. You don't have any energy anymore. You put on weight. Your relationships begin to suffer, not only at home, but at work as well. You feel angry for no reason. You can't find hope or positivity. Do you want me to go on? Do you recognize any of those points in you or somebody around you? So this week, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of powerful breathing information and 3 common myths that we're going to break down as well. And this is my ebook that you can also get from the community, where there's even more information. Now, you see, I didn't used to know this stuff. Have I introduced me? Well, if you don't know me, find out. My name is Tim Wagner, and I've been breathing for 54 years, and I was 50 when I first learned how to breathe. Now, it sounds a little bit of weird, and I thought at the beginning, well, I've got a lot of experience at this, so I've got to be pretty good, right? Wrong. Today, While I call myself a professional pointer, pointing business executives in a new direction to find purpose and meaning in life outside of the stress state, working with teams and high functioning people, today I'm here as a breathwork alchemist. Now, what does this mean? This means that I use the power of our breathing state to activate an awakening inside of you that'll help you live the best purpose of your life, so that you know what your values are, why you're here, and you can actually deal with it, but not coming from a stress state. So why is this so important? Why has this become a huge passion of mine? Well, when I was, in 2018, so it's nearly 7 years ago, in fact, I was a stressed corporate guy, couldn't sleep, poor sleeping habits, poor communication, relationship with the family dissolving around me. My health was in tatters. The business I was running was struggling. I remember those days of waking with a fog around my mind, feeling my stress levels would just wash over me like a wave as I thought about the workload day ahead and just knew the stress and anxiety I was going to be under. I remember this all too well. I had no one to turn to in those times. I had no one to confide to. I didn't know what was stress. I didn't know what burnout, what brownout was. I didn't know. I just knew I had to get the hell out. But that was 2018. And it doesn't have to be the same for you. I'm going to quickly share a story with you of a recent client. His name's John Daly, South African, living in Scotland. Great guy. I always felt like I was pushing a boulder uphill, John said. I wanted to reduce the drag I was feeling and be able to move and flow. Working with Tim was a revelation. It felt like I was shifting psychological sludge. I love that. I was shifting psychological sludge in real time and experiencing a leap forward that blew my mind. I feel fresh, sharp, and light. To anyone that's just thinking about it, jump in. Powerful stuff. John's been doing personal development coaching for many years. And this is the first time, very quickly, he actually felt something serious move. So let's start. I'm going to start with a stress test. Now, I'm going to share it with you. We're going to do it live here. But this is one that I would also urge you to take away with you. And after you've been sitting in a calm state for around 10 minutes, that's the optimal time to do it. But to give you an example of your state right here, right now, let's do this exercise. Very simple one. It is a little bit subjective because anytime that you do focus on your breathing, you do naturally change your breathing state. But literally for 60 seconds, you're going to be counting, literally, really, okay, bad choice of words. You're going to be counting how many breaths in and out you take. So breathe in. That would be one. And I'm going to time you for 60 seconds. If I can find my timer here on the fancy electronic devices that we all swear by, and I can't. So, oh dear. One of the highest causes of people hitting brownout these days and going towards burnout is technology stress. There we go. We all have it. Okay. So I'm going to count you 3 to 1. You're not going to manipulate your breathing. You're just breathing at a normal state that you breathe. You're not going to try and influence it. If you find that you're yawning or gasping, you've changed how you breathe. You're just sitting back, arms comfortably wherever they are, closing your eyes, just breathing normally and counting your breaths. Are we ready? And let your air out. 3, 2, 1, and count your breaths. Ten seconds. and stop. Make a note of how many breaths you took. Here's why. If you took breaths in and out of less than 12, that's an indication that you're likely not very stressed at the moment, that you have good health, and it's deemed as a very good place to be in. If you're breathing more than 16 breaths a minute, that's a sheer sign of stress or possibly even dis-ease. Maybe you have asthma, you have something else which is going on in your life. But if not, it's a heightened state of stress. And 90% of society sits in a state of over-breathing, typically in and out their mouth, which is 16 times or more. Now, this exercise I did, mine was 13, which is slightly above what I normally would be if I'm just resting. Because I'm presenting here today, I'm getting quite excited, and my breathing pattern has changed from what it would be normally. But I'm around normally 11 to 12 on average. So, the sicker you are, the more stressed you are, the more likely it is that you're going to breathe deep and fast. This not only impacts your mental, physical, and spiritual state, but will also reduce your sleeping. It reduces also the amount of oxygen in your body. There's common problems with mouth breathing that impact us all the time, including hyperventilation. Chronic overbreathing is a devastating place to be. And this leads to the stress, anxiety, dis-ease, illness, and a lot of other things as well. Lao Tzu said, the perfect man breathes without breathing. In other words, you don't want to notice somebody is breathing. If you hear somebody breathe, it's likely they're ill or extremely stressed. So, mouth breathers. Why mouth breathing so bad? Not only when you're exercising, it depends on what exercising you're doing, of course, but running, walking, normal activities, as well as just sitting in front of your computer in a meeting, walking around the shops. Mouth breathing is very, very bad for you. So here's the question. Do you need more oxygen or more air? We need more oxygen. Now, we believe that the more air we take in, hence, you get in more in your mouth, the more oxygen we get. But that is one of the myths we're going to be dispelling here. Mouth breathing lowers your oxygen level. You need CO2 and what's called nitric oxide, which only happens when you're breathing through your nose, to increase the amount of oxygen in your bloodstream, because CO2 and NO, nitric oxide, are required as gases to help with the transfer of oxygen into your bloodstream. There's a lot of clinical evidence about it these days, of the importance and the impact of it. So nose breathing is your primary way to breathe. Fundamentally, it is in and out your nose, the only way. If you've got somebody who's got flu in your home, breathe through your nose. Your nose has got a natural way of removing the bacteria, viruses, dust particles, and other airborne illnesses or objects that you don't want going into your lungs. But your mouth doesn't. It goes straight in. You need that filtration system. Consequently, the more that you breathe through your nose, the less likely it is that you will get sick. Mouth breathing increases stress and anxiety, which decreases your overall well-being as well. Got to remember these things. Here's an astonishing thing that I read. It was a few years ago, and it first came across to me in various articles and was reiterated with James Nestor's book called Breathe, that I've got on my shelf over here somewhere. Great place to go. Great reference book. Now, the research showed that your upper part of your lungs, if you say your lungs are split into three, upper, middle, and lower, the upper part of your lungs delivers 4 ml of oxygen per minute. But in contrast, when you breathe through your nose, you're breathing to the bottom part of your lungs, which has 60 ml of oxygen intake per minute. 4 ml in your top, 60 ml in your bottom. And that's even only the lower 13% of your lungs as well. So breathing through your nose into your belly, your uptake of oxygen is 7 times greater. Remember, it's not the amount of breaths you take, it's not how deep you take a breath, and it's not breathing through your mouth that is going to increase your amount of oxygen in your blood. Myth number 1, take a deep breath in due to a lack of oxygen. Why? Because I'm lacking oxygen. Now, contrary to popular belief, breathing is not regulated by the lack of oxygen, but it's regulated by the buildup of CO2, carbon dioxide, in your blood and your brain. See, when you breathe out, you exhale more CO2 than you breathe in. When you breathe out, you exhale less oxygen than you breathe in because your body needs the oxygen. The conversion of fat cells and many other things that goes on inside your body is exhaled through CO2. Breathing faster with big breaths restricts the uptake of oxygen in your bloodstream. It does not increase it. Myth number 2, CO2 is dangerous and must be reduced. Don't believe it. You need to embrace CO2. Plants require CO2. You require CO2. Every living creature requires CO2. It's not the villain. It plays a crucial role in the transfer of oxygen to your blood because CO2 causes what is known as vasodilation. In other words, your blood vessels open, they dilate, allowing more blood to flow to your organs, your muscles, your body, facilitating healthier organs. Number 3, when hyperventilating, take a deep breath. You see this in the movies. Hollywood says, breathe into a paper bag. No! You're breathing out more carbon dioxide into that bag. So you're taking in more carbon dioxide and less oxygen. And then they feel faint. Pass out. Why did you faint? Too much oxygen. No. It's a lack of oxygen. When you go lightheaded, vasoconstriction due to lack of CO2. Your blood vessels constrict, reducing the blood flow to your brain, which makes you lightheaded and you faint. What's the solution? Long, slow breath in through the nose, long, slow breath out through the mouth. The ideal way to breathe is all in and out the nose, but if in a state of panic, your out breath longer than you're in will calm you. We need the CO2. We need to open up. We need a calm nose breathing. The pins and needles that you feel if you're sitting cross-legged or on an arm, sleeping on an arm sometimes, you feel that pins and needles due to a lack of oxygenated blood. And that's why as soon as you move it and release and the blood vessels open, the blood pumps through and it can be quite painful. There's a huge importance in CO2 and the value of this. CO2 is the catalyst that we require to increase the amount of oxygen. So breathing heavily, even if you're doing exercise, reduces your oxygen intake because it doesn't allow the CO2 to be part of that process and you're expelling too much. So this is the paradox of breathing. While breathing heavier and faster, you think brings you more oxygen to your cells, but it's the lack of oxygen then that's going to cause your muscles to atrophy and not function properly. To wrap up, if you're ready to experience the removal of that psychological sludge that John spoke about, I've got an invitation for you. See, my mission is to help you align your personal values with your business from a stress-free state. And I'd love to work with you. I'd love you to have more enjoyment, more fulfillment, more success, more time with your family and your business. So let's work together. Reach out to me. Let's chat about how you can use the power of your breath to activate a greater state of awakening and clarity in your day so that you can influence how you feel, how you think, and how you react to stressful circumstances. I've got a 5-week program and a 12-month program. My most popular one is my 6-month program, Life Mastery Journey for Ambitious Leaders. Let's connect in 25 so that you can thrive and no longer just survive. If you enjoyed this, click the link below. Join my mastermind, my Pathfinder community. It's completely free, a lot more information. My name's Tim Wagner. I'll see you in the same place next week.